One, two.
I'm Devin Stubblefield, and this is my audience. How well do you know your ancestors and their past? Ever since I was a little girl, I have taken a special interest in my heritage of being Native American. Pocahontas was my favorite Disney princess movie when I learned I was over a quarter of a Native American myself. I began to ask more questions about who we are and where we came from. I am 1/8 Lummi and 1/8 Klamath, with a few other tribes mixed in. My maternal grandmother is half and half of each, but can only register under one tribe. She is registered under the Klamath tribe. When I graduated high school, her ex-husband, my maternal grandfather, sent me information about her tribe and how to register. That was when I decided it was time to learn about them. Today, I'm going to tell you of the Klamath tribe by discussing the prestige they had, the fall of the tribe, and how they rebuilt the community. The Klamath tribe was one of the most skillful and aggressive tribes in the Crater Lake area of Oregon and Washington. The Klamath tribe have lived in the southern parts of Oregon and the northeastern parts of California since before the Europeans conquered what is now the United States. They shared the land with several other tribes and shared the same water resources. They are primarily located between the bottom of the Klamath Lake and Rogue River near Crater Lake. They rarely visited the Crater Lake because of the lack of compatibility that they have with the other tribes. They would bathe in Crater Lake for luck and with hunting, or they visited the area when they were in the pursuit of valuable game. The Klamath used the land and animals around them to survive. Whenever they were in warm forest-like areas, they gathered nuts, berries, and grew vegetables. They used the lakes and streams for fishing and for hunting small game and waterfowl. Whenever they were near vast countrysides, they did small game such as rabbit, wolves, deer, and field birds for food and for clothing. They stayed in semi-subterranean houses that were built into the sides of hills for warmth during the winter months and lined them with furs. They had an opening at the top of the mound to release any smoke by the fires to enter or exit out of the hole, as with a pole that were cut out of for steps. During the winter, they gathered the willow branches, stuck them in the ground in triangular or elliptical shape, and then fastened them together at the top. They would then cover these houses and then line them with animal skins. In the early days of the Klamath tribe, the shaman were a very large authority figure amongst them. They could be men or women, but the men usually were the ones with the healing power. They drew their power from the spirits of nature and usually tapped into power during times of fasting, prayer, and visions. They were the ones in control of the weather and accompanied warriors on war trips. Even though there were chiefs in each tribelet, the shaman always had the last say on matters dealing with the people. The Klamath tribe were very dominating to the surrounding tribes. They often went on raids and captured the tribal members and made them slaves. They were friendly to the white man, despite their aggressive behavior to other Native American tribes. They used very intricate arrows for their bows. They claimed that they were so strong that the arrows could be shot through a hut or a horse. They used bows made of moderately thin or sturdy wood with arrowheads made of obsidian. Their spears were of thick wood with an obsidian arrowhead as well. The obsidian is a sharp, durable stone that is good for hunting, skinning, and for protection. The power of the Klamath tribe suddenly challenged when the United States continued their move westward. The Klamath tribe didn't see much interaction with the Western world until about the 1820s when Pete Scagney Ogden. At that time, the population was about 1,200, specific to the Klamath tribe. In 1850, after being introduced to the white man, disease spread, killing the tribal members, and the game were chased away, causing the tribelets, the subdivisions of the tribe, to spread further away from their homes to survive. The 1864 treaty with the United States government, this tribe ceded to their demands of providing over 13 million acres and kept 1.1 million for the reservation. This treaty was also to end any slavery among the tribe. After some internal conflict amongst the Modoc and Klamath tribes being forced into one reservation, the Modoc left the reservation at the end of the 19th century. The reservation was terminated by 1958 by the United States government. Over half of the tribe withdrew from the land and took their individual shares given to them. About 23% that were remaining stayed and worked to become self-sustaining to preserve their culture. Since the termination of the tribe in 1958, they worked to save their tribal traditions. Each year after the first snow in March, they celebrated the annual return of the Shawan ceremony. It is one of three major holidays created by the tribe. The Shawan, which is the Lost River sucker, were a main source of food besides salmon for the Klamath people. During this time of year, they celebrated the spawning of the Shawan in the Frog River in Chiloquin, Oregon. During the 1950s, the Klamath tribe, considered one of the wealthiest tribes due to its assistance for providing timber for the railroad that was being built in the 1910s. Even though they were terminated as a tribe, their ability to thrive was not phased. They were able to keep their rights to water areas, hunt, fish, and gather, and their right to be consulted for land usage. They still did not have land of their own, but in the federal courts in 1974 allowed them to keep these simple basic rights. About 12 years later, the Klamath tribe was up for restoration and federal recognition, but would still not regain any of their land. With this regained recognition, they had to work up a plan to become self-sufficient. The economic self-sufficiency plan was one that was pondered over for quite a while. In 1997, they came up with the idea to build the casino, Klamath Casino, which is the second tourist attraction in the Klamath County area. By 1993, the tribe had recorded 2,700 registered members after the restoration of their recognition. They have a ceremony celebrating this. It occurs every fourth week in August. The ceremony has games, food, a powwow, and a parade to celebrate all of the hard work and determination that was required to establish the Klamath tribes. In more recent years, the tribe has become very involved in the Klamath Basin Restoration, the KBRA, and the Klamath Hydroelectric Settlement Agreement, the KHSA. The Klamath tribe and surrounding communities feel that the dams put into place along the Klamath River Basin are interfering with salmon breeding and fishing. With these settlement agreements, the goal is to have the dams removed and to work with the communities to repopulate the salmon and keep them in a natural environment as possible, as well as other species of fish that inhabit the area. This is all to restore waterways and waterworks used in the communities affected by the dams, as well as fisheries, so that the waters can be used effectively for agricultural and community necessities. In early 2016, the Natural Conservatory and the Klamath Tribes and Fish and Wildlife Services started to work to preserve a rather important part of the Klamath culture, the Wokus lily. In particular, lily has become used since the early days of the tribe to give their baskets a vibrant yellow dye. They ate the seeds and were made into flour for cooking. By bringing back this flour, it would also create a natural habitat for endangered fish species they are trying to bring back with the Klamath Basin Settlement Agreements. Throughout history, the Klamath tribe has provided its strength, resiliency, even in times of adversity. From times of being one of the most aggressive tribes to nearly being wiped out by illness to rebuilding the sustainability and recognition of the tribe after their recognition revoked, they seem to arise from the ashes from which they were previously burned with. Hopefully, with the assistance they were given to help preserve their culture, the lands and the animals that thrive on it, they can continue to build the community back up to respectable status once more.